Thanks, guys. Welcome, everyone, to Unity of Gaithersburg Sunday morning live stream. We are so happy you are joining us today. And we're going to open with another wonderful song. The band is now going to play Lean on Me. Take it away, guys.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, right up the road and I'll share the load. If you just call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much. What wonderful music to open us up with. And once again, welcome to Unity of Gaithersburg Sunday morning live stream. We are so happy that you are joining us, and welcome into our sacred cyberspace. And right now, Reverend Steve is going to get us centered with our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone, and what a day it is to be with one another. We're leaning on each other in this time of growth opportunity, this time of pain, this time of possibility, this time of joy. And so as we take a moment right now to pay attention to where we are and to our space, we take a deep breath and we let go. And as we do so, we move towards our center of peace, the center that is forever with us, whatever may be happening in the world. And the center of peace is a haven. The center of peace is also the center of our divinity, our love, our very nature. And so there's a reason that we have joined one another right now. Cyberspace is one reality. The ultimate reality is what binds us together, heart to heart, mind to mind. We would call that love. And so as we move into the silence in a moment, as we move into the silence, pay attention to your thoughts and how you're doing, your body, your feelings, why you are paying attention now to this service, and what's happening with you. How are you doing? And acknowledging and embracing whatever comes to you in this time. And so we go within right now and we let go. In the silence. There's nothing to do in the silence. And with a deep breath, we return our awareness to our space and wherever we may be. And as we realize that we're a spiritual being having this human experience, we join our experience in the human realm with what we know to be true about ourselves. What are our beliefs around our oneness, around our nature of divinity? And as we combine from our mind with the energy and the truth of our heart, we open our eyes and we embrace what we see. We embrace what we feel. And we perhaps even, of us being like a tiny speck, smaller than an atom perhaps, in the universe. But this tiny speck has consciousness. And that'd be us. And that'd be others. And so with this awareness that we are much more than we ever consider, as is everyone else, as is all matter, all things. Oneness is a little fact in reality. And so as we come back and pay attention, we're allowing ourselves to be open and receptive to the gifts that are coming forth from this cyberspace experience, and whatever it may be. There's opportunities for you to look into sacred service, to express your divinity in many ways that perhaps you're doing now, or you could be doing on the planet or at Unity of Gaithersburg. And so we say, Amen. We say, bring it on. We are ready. Here we are. Lorna, you're on.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning. This week's transformational opportunities are also detailed in our community newsletter. Receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. Unity of Gaithersburg celebrates Black History Month. Many thanks to Kathy Daniels, our board president, who put together short presentations for each Sunday of Black History Month. This has been a wonderful addition to our Sunday flow. Join us this Wednesday for our spring book study. Steve, I think you're...
The Eye of the Storm, it's coming up starting Wednesday. We're having a series. For those of you that have not taken a class or read the book by Gary Simmons, I just want to give you a heads up that it's really a very, very powerful experience. And it's swept the Unity movement in the last decade and more, and making a huge difference for ministries as they go through life and go through situations that are calling for another view of what's happening. And so the Eye of the Storm, in many ways, what we say with Unity Worldwide Ministries is it's really essential for a Unity ministry to have an awareness of some of the principles and some of the teachings there. And it's really an exciting time. We'll be talking with one another. We'll do some small groups. And if you have the book, that's great. And you can get along if you don't have the book. And I believe there is a PDF that's posted on our website, and there will be something coming forth this week in the newsletter. And the link is in the newsletter. So 7 o'clock. Join us.
Thank you, Steve. So as you just heard, we will be reading The Eye of the Storm by Gary Simmons. The class will run for 5 Wednesdays, starting this Wednesday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. Registration is requested. Go to www.unityofgaithersburg.org/special-events for more information. You can also send an email to admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. Join us this week for one of our monthly prayer circles. All are welcome. 2 sessions, Monday, March 1st at 7 p.m. or Thursday, March 4th at noon. The Zoom link is in the newsletter, or you can email admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. Finally, remember our other Zoom happenings during this time of no in-person activities. Join our community fellowship today after service. This is a time to gather, say hi, and share heart to heart. We'll meet on Zoom today at 12:15. To get the Zoom link, go to our newsletter or send an email to admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. And Hump Day Happy Hour takes place every Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Zoom. The link is in our newsletter. You can also send an email to admin@unityofgaithersburg.org or click Going on the event on our Facebook page. And now, please center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. Our focus is connection, and our affirmation is, I honor my connection with all people. No matter how great the distance that exists between me and the people I care about, I know we are connected by our love for one another. Today, I reestablish and strengthen this connection by reaching out, even if it's only to let someone know I'm thinking of them. Our connection is also kept strong through prayer. As I pray for those I care about, I bless them by holding my highest vision for their lives, seeing them as healthy, prosperous, happy, and fulfilled. Whether we're in frequent contact or have fallen out of touch, my connection with my loved ones remains strong because we are one in God, one in love. And in 1 Corinthians, we find in 12:13, for in the one Spirit we were all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and we were all made to drink of one spirit. And now let's breathe together and center ourselves as we prepare for meditation.
As we breathe deeply, we realize that inquiring within is one of the many gifts, one of the many wonderful choices we always have in any situation. And so as we join in one mind, remembering and reminding ourselves that we are in one mind, our eyes may be closed. A few breaths will sustain us. And as we allow ourselves to move deeper, we have our own ways of meditating, and sometimes it's having several deep breaths and releasing, and sometimes it's just merely letting go. Or even for some people who'd rather not hear another voice, to mute your computer. And today we have a very powerful aspect of spiritual teachings, one that we know really well if we've been on a spiritual path with awareness and willingness. And that teaching is oneness, is unity, wholeness. And if we allow ourselves to have an awareness of oneness, perhaps it begins with our belief. And so in our meditation this morning, let us open to the reality of our belief in spiritual oneness, that it's a spiritual principle that doesn't change. And even in our world today, our scientists are showing very clearly through quantum physics and more, that there is oneness of all creation. And so our belief creates our reality. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind in ways that quite often we lack awareness of what's happening or belief in the power of our thoughts. And so on this Sunday, we choose again. We move very deeply into whatever path we need to be on to understand, to embrace, to believe in, to extend, to live the principle of oneness, the principle of unity. All there is, unity consciousness. So now we move into the silence where we know, where we experience in the silence. we take a few breaths and we remember that we have made a decision to pay attention to life, pay attention through the lens of love, the lens of what some would call the Christ eyes, the God eyes, spiritual eyes. And because of our very nature as a divine being, we make a difference. And if we're really whole, if we believe in oneness, then the world that we know, existence as we know it, reality as we know it, is not complete if we don't believe that we are part of it. And so we do believe. We celebrate our true identity, our oneness. We celebrate each other. We realize that at a level that goes beyond our knowing sometimes, that we are one in spirit, there is no separation. And so with this level of belief, of faith, of confidence, of gratitude, we say, thank you, sweet spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And amen. Amen.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that girl dressed in red? Wade in the water. Must be the children that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, yeah, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that young girl that's dressed in blue? Wade in the water. Must be the children that are riding through. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, yeah, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. You don't believe I've been redeemed? Wade in the water. Just see the Holy Ghost looking for me. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, yeah, wade. Gonna trouble the water.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was beautiful, beautiful. Well, now we're finishing up Black History Month, and we have two wonderful folks that have been with us from the beginning, amongst others, Kathy Daniels and Lona Dixon. They're going to take us through this session, this last one of the month. We're so blessed by both of you. Take it away.
Thank you, Steve. Kathy, you're muted.
It's contagious.
Okay, we'll try this again. Today, for Black History Month, we're going to examine the life of a woman who had a very traumatic childhood and a very troubled and challenging life in general. Yet she managed to rise to stardom despite it all. In fact, she became a pioneer for the civil rights movement with one of her songs. She is a product of the Harlem Renaissance. And with that, Lorna Dixon will share with us the life of Billie Holiday.
Thank you, Kathy. Billie Holiday was born Eleanor Fagan on April 7th, 1915 in Philadelphia, PA. When Billie was a toddler, she and her mother moved to a poor neighborhood in Baltimore. At the age of 10, Billie was raped by one of her neighbors. Soon thereafter, she was sent to the House of the Good Shepherd, a reform school known for abusive treatment for even minor transgressions. In 1928, Billie and her mother moved to New York. There, in New York, Billie eventually began showing up at jazz clubs to audition and sing with resident pianist. She spent her early teens as an apprentice, singing along with iconoclasts Bessie Smith and Louis Armstrong. She made debuts in obscure Harlem nightclubs, sharing tips with other dancers and comedians on the bill. At age 18, Holiday was spotted by producer John Hammond, with whom she cut her first record as part of a studio group led by clarinetist Benny Goodman. From 1935 to 1941, Holiday's career accelerated, recording hit after hit with a string of collaborations, working with Teddy Wilson. Simultaneously, in 1936, she began a legendary string of collaborations with tenor sax giant Lester Young, whose complimentary tone was a perfect trading partner for Billie. They became the best of friends and inseparable. Lester would famously christen her Lady Day. By the time Holiday joined Kansas City's phenomenal Count Basie Orchestra for tours in 1937, she was an unstoppable force, suited for top billing across the United States. In 1938, Artie Shaw invited her to front his orchestra, making Billie the first Black woman to work with a white band, a courageous accomplishment. In the 1930s, she was introduced to the poem Strange Fruit, a horrific depiction of lynching in the southern United States. The music was written just for Billie, and it became the hallmark of her concerts. It's considered by scholars to be the first protest song of the civil rights era. The lyrics were so controversial that her record label wouldn't record it. So she jumped over to the independent Commodore Records, where she could record and sing as she pleased. Strange Fruit immediately became a cultural spark point and a hit record. Holiday married James Monroe in 1941. Already known to drink, Holiday picked up her new husband's habit of smoking opium. The marriage didn't last, but Holiday's problems with substance abuse did. Billie Holiday is considered one of the best jazz vocalists of all time. She had a thriving career as a jazz singer for many years before she lost her battle with substance abuse. She died on July 17, 1959. Also known as Lady Day, her autobiography was made into the 1972 film Lady Sings the Blues. In 2000, Holiday was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, please listen to the lyrics of Strange Fruit, the protest song about lynching, as sung by Billie Holiday.
Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rock, for the tree to drop. Here is a strain.
Well, I'm sorry that got cut off. How powerful, how powerful.
Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind.
Well, I think that's it, huh? Oh. Well, what can we say? At the time in our history of our country that is totally sad, hurts at the core, totally outrageous. I recall as a young boy, I don't remember what the year was, when I first heard about or I think I even saw a photo of a lynching. And I was totally upset and so on. And over the years, it became so obvious to me, how could any one person or group of people do that? And I wanted to make the assumption that, well, everyone understands now that we'll never do that again. That energy is gone, I thought were my words. Well, I would say not. So I need to find my slides. I mean, pardon me, folks. What I want to do, this is the last of a series that's been beautiful. And I don't know how many of our viewers and listeners right now were here for all of these sessions, and they are on our live YouTube channel. And they were really just really beautiful and powerful, and bringing tears and outrage and the whole spectrum of emotion as we celebrate our Black History Month. And so, Kathy and Lorna, I'd like to ask you if you would mind sharing, just looking back now on this program that you two had a huge part in, and Kathy as the moderator, as the creator of our program. I'm so grateful for you and for everyone. It's been just beyond words for me. So how about each of you sort of sharing what's on your heart and mind right now as this program is coming to a close?
Well, a lot. And that song is, it really gets you. But what's really on my mind was the effort that I thought I wanted to do was raise the awareness of everyone of what Black history is all about. Not just the many magnificent accomplishments that African Americans have made despite all of the challenges and racism and horrific acts that have been done, but to make people aware of what has gone down throughout history, because I think there was a period of time where many people felt that maybe racism is subsiding, maybe it's gone away. And really all it did was go underground, and you can see it resurfacing now with an explosion. And it's like all of this has been waiting to erupt, and now it's erupting. And I don't know if everyone is really aware of how serious this problem is. And I think it's important for people to understand and become conscious of everything that's going on. Because as your theme says today, we're all one. So if one of us is suffering, then all of us are suffering. And it's important when you look at the events of January the 6th and understand that, no, this is not going away. There's a determination now more than ever to bring it back in force. And our light has to shine and stand up to that and drown out that darkness. And we won't know to do that if we're not aware of our history.
Yep. Beautiful, beautiful. So true. It's our awareness that we all are part of the whole, and that when one suffers, we all suffer. And the other part of that is too, when one heals, all are healed.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Lorna, you want to share?
You know, Steve, to follow up on that healing remark you just made, another way to look at it is, as they say, the rising tide lifts all boats. It cannot help but. And, you know, this song, Strange Fruit, is just so stirring for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as I worked to control my emotions, I focused my vision and my energy on Billie Holiday and her courage.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because she recorded the song in the middle of these events. She lived these events. And as I focus on her courage and the courage of all who have come before me, before all of us, and the work that they have done, I am filled with gratitude. And I become even more aware of the need for ancestral healing. Because the energies that so powerfully controlled the thoughts and behaviors of those who created this. And to be clear, this is not just about Black against white. It's about all people. Because even before slavery in this country, there was slavery in other parts of the world. And those are the things that have been visited upon all of us over time.
Yes.
And so, again, I focus on my gratitude to our ancestors for all the work that they have done and the preparation, the fact that we stand on those very strong shoulders. And we find ourselves now in a place in time where so many of us are aware of the need for healing, and so many of us are operating at a higher level of consciousness. We have raised the vibration of the planet, and we're being called now to do even more. So, in all of the pain and sorrow and grief and despair, there's hope. So, it may sound trite, it's said all the time, but it's what we have to do. We shine the light. We live through love. In your words, that all of our actions, all that we see and do, is done through a lens of love.
Yeah. Beautiful. So powerful. You both are incredible, inspiring children of God. You, in the midst of everything, first of all, you have the courage to do what you're doing right now. So you're part of a congregation, a community of people called Unity of Gaithersburg. That's primarily white. And you're not deterred by that. You probably have some thoughts about that and experiences. And in fact, I know you do. And we all do. And so, in other words, I think I can speak for all of our folks that are watching this, that both of you are bringers of light to us. And one of the questions I have for myself is, here I am doing the work that I do as a spiritual leader, as a spiritual person in an organization called Unity and so on. And there's a part of me that wonders, and I've lived through a lot of this from a white perspective and white privilege, big time. And it's like, well, what am I to do? What can I do? And will this ever end? And the beauty of our times, one positive way of it is that we really are instantly aware of what's going on around the planet, at least one view of it or several views of it. And so as our lens is focused only outward, then what about how do we get guidance for ourselves of people can say, well, I had nothing to do with any lynching. I was never here, and I don't condone it, and so that's that. Excuse me? And so what do we say to ourselves and as a spiritual community of what is our response? What is ours to do or to be? You have any thoughts?
Well, on a very micro level, it can be just as straightforward as understanding the issue, understanding that there are things going on around you despite how comfortable you are in your life, and knowing that others are still going through this repetitive racial animosity that's been going on since the beginning of slaves being brought here. And once you understand that, then you can, I'm sure you probably know somebody who doesn't understand that. And in your own simplistic way or a subtle way or any way you can, sometimes it's just a matter of asking questions to raise another person's awareness that this is not something that can be swept under the rug. I mean, it's out in plain view and you have to become aware of it and address it. And so it's important for people to understand because it's systematic, it's institutionalized. And there are things that you don't have to suffer or go through that people of color do basically and merely because of the color of their skin. So just helping somebody else understand that and become aware. And for them, for others to benefit from a just society doesn't mean that they lose out. And that's what I think people don't get. They think if we get something, then they lose something. And that is not the way it has to be.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. This is actually something that I have been pondering recently because I have been focusing on the consciousness of lack and limitations that is so pervasive, and the underlying fear that, as you say, there isn't enough to go around. So if I give up something that I've become accustomed to, something that I've always known all my life, that makes me so comfortable, if I give any of that up so that somebody else may have an opportunity, I will become less comfortable.
Right, yeah.
Because there won't be any more. And so I really think all of us has a responsibility to be willing to take the first step, no matter how small. Nobody's asking you to give up your entire lifestyle. Nobody's asking you to give up your job, to give up your home. But just ask yourself, what does it mean to help your fellow man? What does it mean to ease the pain for someone else? Yeah. One of the things that I have always found so confusing and is man's inhumanity to man. It's just something that for many, many years, when I observe something or learn about something, and I just think, oh, how on earth do we live with ourselves knowing that we have created this pain and suffering?
Right.
For others. And so to just keep searching your heart. Yeah. What can I do? And after doing something, how did that make me feel? What was the cost?
Beautiful.
So.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, what occurs to me, I keep asking myself a question a lot, and I think in my role as a minister, I don't know whether I'm talking about me or about some spiritual principle. Sometimes I lose sight of answer to that one, but who have I come here to be? In any situation, who have I come here to be as Steve Colliday in the midst of this horror that we realize is still calls for healing in the planet for racial justice, for racial, and into racism. And it's always about inquiring within. It's always about consciousness. Life is consciousness. And that's what we teach spiritually. And the difficulty is when to get through the noise that we co-create around the horrors, the pain, and so on, and we're not paying attention to any possibility for law and you having a responsibility and a place within you where healing is possible with your shifting your consciousness, with your realizing what's really going on here is horrific, not only horrors at the level of this reality, what's really going on here is people are in pain and are calling for love and they don't know how to do it or to say it or believe it or act in it. And so what we do, we get sucked right into their level of crap, their level of belief, and so we come up with an opposite belief, and so is it a surprise that we haven't inquired within, that we haven't accepted some responsibility to say, well, I've come here to be, how about this one? A non-anxious presence in the midst of whatever label you've been putting on this. Are you saying, okay, I want Unity of Gaithersburg to get off its resting place and do more. Add some black people to the racism committee. Let's do something. And that's wonderful because it suggests in some ways that you have responded, that you're touched and you want to, the part of you that really wants to do something. For me, another question to really ask is, who have I come here to be? Who have we come here to be? What is our beingness? What are we called to really pay attention to? And we don't need to really go right away into, let's do a plan of action for this. How are we going to do this? Yes, that's especially what white folks do really well. That's what we do. We avoid, we don't want to go too deep. We don't want to go too deep into the shadow. Or we'll let somebody else do this. Or we'll blame someone else. So the beauty of it is, I think, speaking with Unity of Gaithersburg, that having this experience with you and with what you brought to us through connecting with our brothers and sisters and our ancestors and so on, it's incredibly powerful. It's more powerful than we have an idea about. We don't necessarily know what this has done at the level of consciousness. On the other hand, I believe it's been a very, very powerful message in light in this community. You know, we don't hear a lot of feedback, at least I don't, maybe it's because I'm too new, around from people in the Unity of Gaithersburg community. What do they think about, for example, Black History Month? Is that important to have feedback from them? Well, really, at one level, no. All I want to do is do the best I can do and see that in others and hold that for others and to do my part in my own healing and so on. And so I think that what we've been doing, and thanks to you and all of our heroines and heroes over the centuries have done too, we are doing our part. We are doing something beautiful. And so I'm aware that in some ways I'd like to have this conversation go further. In fact, here's what I'd like to float. I'd like to suggest that if two of you are willing, anyone else wants to join us, let's schedule some event. Maybe our calendar is getting very, very full, but let's schedule an event, a session, that we come together as a Gaithersburg community and take this further and talk further. And have no intention of outcome other than let's come together and let's talk a little bit. And I'd like to suggest, I'd like to be a part of that if you do. And if anyone's that's listening in on this, if you want to be a part of it, you know how to get in touch with us. And so, well, I want to, from everyone, the Unity community and people around the planet that are being touched, and actually from everyone, because since we're one, they already know. They've already been touched. Everybody has, very, very deeply. To say mahalo, thank you so much for your light, sharing your light and your wisdom and being demonstrations of love. And so I want to say thank you and God bless you. And now, just thinking of the power of the song We Shall Overcome says it all. Our band is going to share that with us now. We shall overcome. It'll be instrumental, so each person, we can sing every wish. We are committed. We shall overcome. And there's a part of us in our spiritual core and nature that hears these words, we have overcome. And it is so. Amen. Lorna, you're on again.
Yes. And now, this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. Thank you for going to our website or newsletter to give your gifts online. You can also text to give. Here is a prosperity affirmation from Eric Butterworth. There is only one way by which you can achieve prosperity. It is to take charge of your mind. As we each give, we affirm this offering blessing. Divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am so grateful. That's how it is.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Saying praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass, all their dirty remarks. One love. There is one question I'd really love to ask. One heart, is there a place for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save his own? Believe me, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One more thing, let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love, so when the man comes, there will be no doom. One song, have pity on those whose chances will grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation, saying one love, one heart. Oh, let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Thank you. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Together. Here's the song.